Hello everybody, we are once again back, and we are going to be reading again Encyclopedia Brown. Today's story is The Case of the Civil War Sword. But before we begin that, we must know the ending, the answer to yesterday's story. 87, where I must go. The case of the scattered cards solution is Bugs Meany said that Clarence had stolen the tent from the Tigers clubhouse this morning. That is the second day of the rain. Therefore, the ground under the tent should have been wet. But when Encyclopedia scattered the cards with his foot, he discovered that the ground inside the tent was dry. This proved the tent had been put up before the rain, as Clarence claimed, not during the rain this morning, as Bugs said. Well, that is the solution to yesterday's story. And today's story is Case of the Civil War Sword. A boy with red hair stopped in the doorway of the Brown Detective Agency. "Are you any good at swords?" he asked. Encyclopedia did not lift his eyes from his book, How to Build a Nuclear Reactor. What kind of a game is swords?" he asked. "It isn't a game," said the red-haired boy. "My name is Peter Clinton. I want to hire you." Peter put 25 cents on the petrol tin beside Encyclopedia. "The coins clinked." Encyclopedia stopped reading. He looked up, very businesslike. "How can I help you?" he asked. "I have a chance to trade my bicycle for a sword. I want to make sure the sword is real. You don't think the sword is really a sword?" said Encyclopedia. "What do you think it is?" "That isn't what I mean," Peter said. "It's a sword from the Civil War." "There are thousands of swords left over from the Civil War," said Encyclopedia. "I know," said Peter. "But how many belonged to General Jackson?" "Stonewall Jackson?" gasped Encyclopedia. "The great Southern general?" "This sword is supposed to have belonged to Stonewall Jackson," said Peter. "Bugs Meany says so." Encyclopedia straightened up at the name. "You want me to make sure the sword really did belong to Stonewall Jackson?" "Yes," said Peter. "Then you'll take the case?" "I'll take it," said Encyclopedia. "If Bugs is behind this, you'll need help." Peter led the private detective to the Tigers clubhouse, an unused tool shed behind Mr. Sweeney's auto body shop. The Tigers were busy racing gardener snates. Bud made a face when he saw Encyclopedia. "So Mr. Brains is now a Civil War know-it-all," said the Tigers' leader. Well, maybe you'll tell me what Stonewall Jackson did at the Battle of Bull Run." "Which battle at Bull Run?" asked Encyclopedia. "There were two, one in 1861, the other in 1862. "Good for you," said Bugs, grinning. "Now don't say this sword isn't the real thing." Encyclopedia walked to the table on which the sword lay. Bugs said this sword was given to Stonewall Jackson a month after the first battle of Bull Run. "If that's true," Peter whispered to Encyclopedia, "this sword is worth 10 bites like mine." 20, corrected Encyclopedia. "Read what it says on the blade," said Bugs. Encyclopedia read, "To Thomas J. Jackson, for standing like a stone wall at the first battle of Bull Run on July 21st, 1861. The sword is presented to him by his men on August 21st, 1861. The sword has certainly seen a lot of use," said Encyclopedia. "Did you expect it to look new and shiny?" sneered Bugs. "It's more than 100 years old." It doesn't look like it ever was worth $5, Encyclopedia said. Never mind how it looks, said Peter. Do you think it belonged to General Jackson? Before Encyclopedia could answer, Bart spoke up. I sure hate the part with the sword, but Peter wants it so much. I just had to say I traded for his bike. Trade? You won't trade with Peter. That's the photo there. Said Encyclopedia, the sword never belonged to General Stonewall Jackson. How did Encyclopedia know? The answer will be in next week's episode on some point, or not next week, tomorrow's episode, some point. Why did I say next week? Anyway, yeah. So that is today's story. That one's pretty short, actually. Thank you for tuning in again. Do the YouTube stuff, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all the fun stuff. Why am I telling you this? You guys know how YouTube works. Do the stuff, you'll get notified when the video uploads, and if it doesn't, if you don't get a notification, just check back at some point tomorrow. There should be a video. Alright, adios, peace.